All right, let's dive into a really powerful short story today called Coming Home. We're going to break down how the author pulls you in and makes you feel every bit of this incredibly moving story about family, loss, and, well, resilience. Let's get right into it. The story kicks off with this one single image, and honestly, it tells you everything you need to know. We meet our main character, Johnny, and you can just feel his desperation. That swing set isn't just a swing set, is it? For him, in that moment, it's the only thing holding him steady while his whole world is just spinning out of control. It's an amazing way to set the emotional stakes right from the very first line.
So, where is all this happening? An empty park? At dusk. The setting here is just perfect. Think about it. The light is fading, it's getting quiet. The whole place feels deserted. It's a perfect mirror for what Johnny and his sister Kaylee are feeling inside. That sense of isolation, that feeling that the world is literally getting darker around them. And as the sky gets darker, the stars come out. But they're not comforting, are they? No. The author describes them as a tiny billion eyes, just watching. It's this incredible personification. Johnny feels like his personal tragedy, this train wreck of a life, is just a show for an entire universe that just doesn't care. It really drives home how small and helpless he feels.
And then his sister Kaylee shows up, and right away you can just feel the tension. Look at the contrast here. Johnny is agitated, almost annoyed she's there, and he's staring up at the sky like he's looking for an escape. But Kaylee, who's normally the loud one, is just quiet. Her head is hung low. Their body language is completely opposite, and you just know something is deeply wrong before they even really start talking. So all that quiet tension, it's about to boil over. Kaylee's silence is really the calm before the storm. She's the one who's about to say the one thing they've both been terrified to even think. And boom, there it is. That's the line that just changes everything. It's not a question, it's a statement. Kaylee takes all that anxiety they've been carrying and just puts it right out there in the open. You can almost feel the air go still when she says it. This is the moment that sets the entire rest of the story in motion.
And look, Kaylee isn't just being emotional here. She's been keeping track. She has the facts. 2 weeks. That's way longer than his usual 5 days. And 9 days with no call? For a dad who always calls no matter what? Well, that's the scariest piece of evidence of all. She's basically built this devastating case for why she believes they've been abandoned.
And here's the really heartbreaking part. This isn't some shocking new development. What makes this whole situation so tragic is that it's just the latest turn in a painful, predictable cycle that has basically defined their entire lives. They know this pattern all too well. I mean, look at this cycle. It's relentless. Dad goes to Vegas, finds a new girlfriend, a new mom for them, and promises that this time, this is the one. They come home, the money runs out, she leaves, he gets depressed, and then what happens? He leaves again with another empty promise. Can you imagine being a kid on that roller coaster of hope and crushing disappointment over and over again? The story just nails this feeling with a killer simile. He's like a rat on an exercise wheel. It's this perfect image of frantic energy that leads absolutely nowhere. Their father is trapped in his own destructive habits, and he's dragging his kids right along with him. It's not just sad, it's completely futile. And all of this cycle, this frustration, this feeling of being trapped, it all leads us right to the emotional peak of the story. Kaylee voicing her fear is the final push, and that cool and different mask Johnny's been wearing, it just shatters. His anger just explodes. And listen to that language. Rat bastard. He's taking all of that hurt and all that disappointment and channeling it into pure rage. Now he's trying to flip the script. He's trying to convince his sister, and let's be real, he's mostly trying to convince himself that being abandoned is actually a good thing, that it's some kind of blessing. He's building this fantasy of freedom, right? No more letdowns, no more parade of temporary moms. It's this big, defiant performance, trying to take control of a story that's always been out of his hands. And this is the climax of his outburst. He's shouting it at the sky, at those billion eyes watching him, almost like he's daring the universe to challenge him. It is a raw, desperate scream from a kid trying to force himself not to feel the pain. But of course, it's just a front, isn't it? The second the shouting stops, the act falls apart, and the truth just comes rushing in. All that anger just melts away into devastated sighs and tears. Because underneath it all, he's just a scared 17-year-old kid who has just lost his father and his childhood in the very same moment. And that's really what this is, right? It's a coming-of-age story. But not the fun kind. At 17, Johnny is brutally forced into adulthood. He's not worried about prom or finals anymore. He's suddenly thinking about getting a job, quitting school, and how he's going to provide for his sister. His childhood is officially over. But the story doesn't just leave them in that dark place. This absolute breaking point actually becomes a turning point. It's where Johnny and Kaylee start to figure out how to move forward together. After all of Johnny's yelling and rage, what finally gets through to him? It's this quiet, honest, vulnerable moment from his sister. Her simple admission of fear is what finally cuts through all the noise and allows them to actually connect. And this right here, this is the moment, the big realization. Johnny hates that he shares a name with his father, but in this instant, he understands that he doesn't have to share his fate. He can actually make a choice to be different. He can break the cycle. This is him deciding what kind of man he's going to be. And his response is just 2 words, but they change everything. Me too. He admits he's scared too. He meets her vulnerability with his own. And then he acts. He offers her his hand, and he offers her the comfort of her favorite meal. It's his first real act as the new head of their little family. So the story really leaves us with this huge question. When the person who is supposed to be your home disappears, how do you find your way? Coming home shows us that maybe you build a new one. You do it by being honest, by choosing to break the old destructive patterns. For Johnny and Kaylee, the answer is suddenly crystal clear. You find home in each other. You take each other's hand and you just start walking.